It is our pleasure to have Jay Rodriguez, a friend of mine, a friend to the show now.
Yes.
He is the amazing OG culture guy from OG Queer Eye, and he was recently in Bros and Uncoupled on Netflix. He is a singer, TV host, actor on both stage and screen. Welcome, Jay.
Thanks for the lovely intro. James and I go back, but I really felt like I got to know you even better watching the Patty Stanger interview, because she will bring it out of you because she's so charismatic that she kind of disarms you. She like disarms you where you're not like as boundaried. I mean, talking about love, sex, and relationships the way you do so beautifully here, it takes an element of like vulnerability and honesty and how much do I want to share? But what I think is so great is your real life besties. So the kind of things you say to each other are the conversations that not enough people are having. And so this sort of gives them a vehicle to kind of, if they don't have friends like this, that it can actually have those discussions with y'all through the screen.
It's hard for people to make friends now. Like, forget about relationships. Friends are hard to find. So it's hard to even ask your friends when you don't have them for advice.
The older you get, or like if you get into a routine, if you're not in new spaces to meet new people, it's hard to maintain that. I found that like the older I get, if I really want to have a friend, I literally say, so I want to be your friend. They're like, we are friends. I'm like, no. I want to let you know that I actually want to put in the effort to, instead of saying, let's hang out soon, let's open up our calendars and plan something.
Where do you meet people here?
It's hard. I'll be honest, like meeting folks, especially for me, because I'm not like huge, I don't like love going out. So I feel like it's through friends of friends or dinner parties.
Patty was saying the other day that we should go to join a new gym, do a new, what were the other things? There was a couple of things and I thought she was really good with the advice.
Find your passion and find people that also like have some intersection with that.
Yeah.
You know, if you have hobbies, there's not a whole lot of queer presence in there. However, I will say like, I have started saying what I want, meaning telling friends, man, I'm really struggling, like finding people who, and they're like, oh my God, my friend, and he's having and you should come to, so sometimes putting what you want out there gives people an opportunity to present that to you.
I'm in my 20s and I don't like to go out. Nobody likes to go out anymore.
Can I ask if any part of it is because you are recognizable? Because I feel like in some spaces, I know that a certain portion of the room is like, that's so-and-so. And so I feel a little uncomfortable in some spaces. And I wonder if that adds to it for you.
I know that I'm known in certain circles. It's hard because people gossip and whatever. I like to keep to myself and I'm private. And I also don't want people to know who I am and then try to tell me that they don't, because that happens a lot where they'll know who I am and then they'll act like they don't. And it's weird to me.
Listen.
Why do they do that?
Because I think that they don't want to admit to me because they want to have a chance with me and they know that it's going to creep me out.
I agree. I think there's something about the dishonesty. I've been working for like 26, 27 years professionally. So maybe at some point, someone has seen something. Why don't we just like acknowledge what it is, move past it? Because I am not my work. My work was my job, you know, and many of those moments are done and they're in the past. I'm still the same person, regardless of what happens professionally.
Recently, you talked about your experience, how an agent told you basically to forget your acting dreams. Do you find that's common in reality TV? And how can people retain their identity as an artist, even if they're a host also?
So being a part of the first one of the first big major reality shows or unscripted, it wasn't about our lives. It was about the straight guy. So it was weird because you didn't get to know me as a person on the show. Did 100 episodes, but it was a different era where if you were in one medium of entertainment, it was before we had movie stars doing TV shows. Right. Now we have like Nicole Kidman doing TV series. That wasn't a thing back then. There was movie stars, TV stars, and somewhere on the bottom, reality stars. And even though I had a pedigree of like acting work on stage, TV and film before Queer Eye, none of it mattered. On the network, it was really important for them to preserve the idea that none of us were faking it or actors. And so if I were to play up the fact that I was an actor, there was concern that was shared with me that now you're going to discredit everyone. Well, if he's an actor, then they're probably all faking it. So you don't. The show ends. I moved to LA to do a competition singing show. It was like Dancing with the Stars. And I thought this will be my reintroduction. And I did really, really well on it. And then when I got here and I started going, like trying to get auditions for things, people are like, look, man, you made a name for yourself in reality TV. You're a reality star. Like I don't know I had one agent. He was at an agency that at the time represented the Queer Eye brand, so the producers, and they wanted to sign all 5 of us. And this is like, the show had just launched. It was a big deal. So he bring you in and it's like a really fancy boardroom. Immediately you're intimidated. They have all the nosh and everything. They gave you a pitch. This is why you guys should also be here with us, just like your producers are here with us. These are all the perks. Then they split us up and everyone got an agent that the agency thought was appropriate for them. And I sat across this guy. He said, tell me about what you want to do during this time and then post Queer Eye. I said, listen, man, I'm an actor and I'm really not getting to do that because our work schedule is so crazy. And he looked at me blindly and he said, and mind you, this is 2003. And he said, dude, I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to be the next Antonio Banderas. In your mind, that is like the only goal to have, and I'm not going to be able to reach that. And so then I just accepted it because I was used to people saying things like that at that time. And I was like, well, I know some of the guys have like endorsements and stuff. He's like, I mean, you're Latin, you're gay, you're kind of a little effeminate. Like, just being honest, buddy, like we could try like Taco Bell and stuff, but they're more family friendly. I just don't see you in that space. And I'm thinking like, so why are you sitting across from me? So a week passes and the head of the agency says, hey man, why aren't you signing with us? And I told him what happened. And they said, oh, he was like a junior agent. He didn't really know what he was talking about. He shouldn't have said that. And I was like, the fact that you decided out of all 5 of us, I deserved a junior agent after I'm the only one with credits and things, spoke to that time. But shedding the stigma of reality TV was my driving force when I lived here. And I would literally crash auditions. My agent was like, they don't want to see you, but you're perfect for this. And another client just pulled out, take their time slot, just show up. What are they going to tell you? Leave? So you leave. I booked like 3 jobs like that. And I became the first guy from reality to make it big on reality to become series regular on a sitcom. It was me, Reba, and Lily Tomlin and Sarah Rue on ABC. And that let me breathe again because I was like, the stories he tried to sell me and the stories I started believing for myself, they're no longer true because I just disproved them. So now from here on in, the only person standing in my own way is myself, and like even last year, being in Bros and playing like a bro-y straight guy and Judd Apatow. I mean, when I was doing the film, Nicholas Stoller, who directed and co-wrote it with Billy Eichner, was like, we saw like hundreds of guys for this roles and you were like 2 lines in and we were like, that's him.
You were really great.
But Nicholas didn't know anything about Queer Eye or anything. He hired me because he liked the portrayal in my audition. And that was so validating because in 2003, 2006, when I left when the show was over, it was a different era. Who you were as a person dictated what you were allowed to do in Hollywood. We won't see you for this because we know you're gay, but it's about the work. It's not about someone's personal life. And if they can present the work in a way that's accurately telling the story, they should get the job. For me, if I continue to play all queer roles and they're dynamic and multifaceted, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But early on, what people meant by, I think, typecasting is you're only going to get to play gay and there's barely any gay roles and they suck because they're not the central part of the story. Now, there's been an evolution where a character could be, a chief of a fire department. He happens to be gay, but it has nothing to do with the story, like life. And so that we are expanding how queer characters are portrayed. But what I audition for right now, it's not as basic as it used to be. You don't have to be such a cliche.
What do you think about straight actors playing gay roles?
I was just going to ask.
So this is a really good point. First of all, there's some people that I feel like we have to keep them. Like Stanley Tucci, straight, plays a great gay. Devil Wears Prada, great gay. Burlesque, great gay.
I always forget that he's straight.
Straight, right? So here's the problematic part. You still have people in decision-making positions who won't see gay actors for straight roles, even though they would kill them. Because in their mind, they personally cannot get their gayness out of their head, even though the person would do a great job. So that stigma is still there. So, so now this actor can't audition for anything but gay. And that really diminishes someone's opportunity to work. Couple that with the fact that when the person gets on set, and I've played opposite straight men a bunch that were supposed to be my boyfriend or husband, sometimes it can be weird. They treat you differently. And if you were a woman, they would be able to have better chemistry with you. Their affection would feel more normal.
Have you ever had a straight guy be like, oh, I'm kissing you right now? And it's like...
my first job was in Rent. And when we got to the kissing part, where my character kisses another guy, it was my first gay kiss in life. And I was 18 and I remember he freaked out and he was almost fired because he, just didn't think he could do it.
This has been so fun chatting.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I'm such a
good.
fan.
Every week.
Thank you for being our first gay guest.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Have a great week, guys. We will see you next week. This has been us and her and him.
Yes.
Bye.